Welcome to Smex Ed. Class is in session.
I'm your host, Amanda King, and I'm here to teach anybody who wants to fucking listen how to have the audacity to say fuck it to societal standards and live their most authentic life. This podcast is dedicated to bringing the sexual conversations we have behind doors onto the main fucking stage. Because sex, masturbation, squirting, guess what? It is all normal. And by bringing these conversations to the forefront, we help people feel less alone in this world. We help them feel safe. We help them gain their power back. We help them step into their confidence and express themselves sexually in this world unapologetically. Because it takes fucking audacity to be your truest self. And we have a boatloads of audacity all up in this bitch. So let me ask you this. Are you ready for some epic shit?
Hello, everybody. So I received a bunch of questions from followers on Instagram via my channel and via the little prompt box. And so today we are going to select a few of those questions and go over them together for this Q&A. So let's discuss reactions to orgasms, because if you are having an orgasm and it feels like your ears are going to blow out, it could be a few things. Number one, every single body reacts differently to orgasms, but there are certain kind of key factors that happen. So when you have an orgasm, your heart rate elevates, your adrenal glands elevate, your endorphins elevate, your blood pressure elevates slightly, because your body is preparing to feel or experience something. That may show up in different ways in different people. If you are concerned about something, like you feel like you're like, oh my God, this hurts so much when I'm about to have an orgasm, 1,000% go see a healthcare professional and discuss this with them, because I am not a doctor and I cannot diagnose anybody. So if anything feels off, go see a doctor. You are wanting to do anal play and you need help. So let's discuss a few things about anal play, because this could be a literal entire training on its own. And I've done trainings on this, but with anal play, you always want to start small and work your way up. So there are a few ways that you can do this. Number one, go and get a really good water-based lubricant. Water-based, because if you're going to eventually use toys, silicone-based lubricants will destroy your toys. So you want a water-based lubricant. You want to start off very, very, very slow. A lot of people go, when they're participating in anal play, go 0 to 100 in the first shot, and then they experience pain and discomfort, and they don't like it, and they hate it, and it's because you rushed it way too much. So you want to start slow. So you want to either start with your finger or an anal plug training kit. So if you're using your finger, you're going to want a water-based lubricant. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lube your finger and around the anus. Yes, both. And you want to use a lot of lubricant, not just a little drop. Get it in there, get it well lubricated. Then here is your anus. You are going to want to start by just sticking your finger up about an inch, leaving it in there for a few seconds, pulling it back out. Going in, pulling it back. You'll want to repeat that about 5 or 6 times. Then as your body relaxes and you get more comfortable, go a little further in, another inch, pull it out again. And then when you're feeling fully ready, again, full finger, and then pull it out. Now, if you don't get your full finger in the first session, that's okay. This is about patience and time and taking it easy, because you don't want to hurt yourself. Now, if you don't want to use a toy, you're going to want to go buy one of these. These are called anal plug training kits. You can see they come in 3 different sizes and they vary in girth and height. So small, medium, large. You are going to start with the small. Yes, the small. And you're going to do the exact same thing I just told you. You're going to grab a water-based lubricant. You're going to lubricate this toy to the point where it's slipping out of your hands. Yes, you want that much lubricant. Then you're going to lubricate your anus. And then you are going to do the exact same thing. You're going to stick a little bit in, pull out, stick a little bit in, pull out, until you can fully insert this inside of you. And make sure if you're going to buy an anal training kit, they always have a plug at the end. Because guess what? If it doesn't, that can actually happen. Yeah, things they don't tell you. So you want to make sure that yours has a base. And once you are done and you can get this fully inside of you, that's when you move up to the next size. Repeat. You're going to repeat the process until you can take the largest one fully in and be able to keep it in during a session, which typically can either be a solo or partner session for a duration of time, probably about 15 minutes. Once you are done with that, then you can move on to the real thing. Now, there are prep work that goes into anal play, and I'm going to go over it just super duper quickly. 1, make sure you shower beforehand. 2, make sure you have a bowel movement at least 24 hours before participating in any type of anal play or as close to the session as possible. 3, douching is a completely personal, not experience, personal preference. You can douche, you can't douche. There are positives and negatives to each. Number 4, during a partner play session or a solo play session, make sure you have supplies such as cleanup supplies, towels, wet wipes, bags, just in case anything happens, because you can do all the prep work and something can still happen. So when you have an orgasm and there's a gush afterwards, does that fluid contain pee? So let's discuss female squirting. So female squirting is a phenomenon, and I'm going to call it phenomenon because that's exactly what it is, because science has no idea why some women have the ability to do it. But what happens is a person can squirt either before, during, or after an orgasm. Now, female squirting liquid is stored in the bladder and excreted through the urethra. So is there pee in the concoction? Some scientists says yes, there's a lot. Some scientists say no, there isn't. It's a big fucking controversy. So here is my take on this. Whether or not there is urine in it is up for question. However, considering it is stored in the bladder and excreted through the urethra where you pee through, there is always going to be slight traces of urine within the liquid. But who gives a fuck? You know what else is released through the urethra and contains traces of urine? Semen. Yeah. Men only piss and ejaculate out of one hole. And so, especially if your partner has gone to the bathroom right before a session, there is going to be trace amounts of urine in semen. But we don't fucking shame it the way we do with female squirting, because male pleasure is allowed while female pleasure isn't, and or it's looked down on and shamed upon. So whether or not there is a little bit of trace of urine in squirting liquid shouldn't fucking matter. It feels good for the person who is experiencing it. It is a form of pleasure that they deserve to feel, and it also contains other things like fructose and PCA and glucose. It's not just straight urine. And there are so many ignorant freaking people out there, even who will respond to this and say it's pee. You're wrong. You're wrong. It's not. But we shame female pleasure. Society as a whole shames female pleasure. We are not taught about female ejaculation or female squirting and barely orgasms in sex ed. So there are a bunch of people walking around who think they know better than everyone else when they don't. They're just not doing their research. So this is a phenomenon that every single person who has the ability to should experience without shame, without guilt. And if you have a partner who's making you feel like shit, don't stop squirting. Ditch the partner. There's nothing wrong with you. You aren't broken. It's amazing. Allow yourself to feel it. Embrace it. It's a part of you. And I understand, I know a lot of people will say that, well, it's messy and like it's embarrassing. It makes so much mess. Don't be embarrassed by it. It's something that your body naturally wants to do. Who cares if it leaves a fucking wet spot? It was worth feeling. It's always going to be worth feeling. You should never try to stop it. You just shouldn't. Can having a hysterectomy affect your ability to have vaginal orgasms? Yes, it can. This is because you are losing the uterus, right, and the cervix. So cervical orgasms aren't going to be something that you were able to accomplish. Also, because of the surgery, it may be hard for you to actually contract the way you used to when having vaginal orgasms. However, there are still plenty of other ways that you can experience orgasms that are not through vaginal play. In fact, there are only 3 types of vaginal orgasms you can experience out of the 12 different types of orgasms that a vulva owner can experience. So if you can't do vaginal orgasms anymore, start researching other forms of orgasms and start playing with those. It doesn't mean orgasms are a thing of the past. They just might not be able to happen vaginally. How do I get my partner to start talking dirty to me in bed? The first thing you want to do is just tell them and communicate to them that you would like them to be more vocal during sex first. Because you have to think of it, it can be overwhelming for someone who is initially not vocal during sex to then ask to be vocal, and not only to be vocal, but to think of dialogue in their head off the cuff. That's very overwhelming. So when we start, we always start small. So we ask them, hey, can you be more vocal during sex? If they say, what does being more vocal look like to you? You say, tell me what feels good when I'm doing it. If it feels good and you feel like moaning, moan so I know it feels good. Say yes, say do more, say harder. Like, just communicate to me that I'm doing something right so that I know to continue to do that. Step 1. Number 2, have the conversation of what dirty talk is to you, because everybody perceives dirty talk differently, and things that you would like them to say. If you don't know what you would like them to say, I would suggest researching by reading some books, going online, going onto public forums to find out what words turn you on, so that you can hand them like a nice little booklet of like, hey, I want you to tell me this. I want you to praise me. Some people like degradation. Some people just like being told how good things feel. Some people like a full freaking monologue and role play during sex. So it's about communicating what you like and what you are looking for as far as dirty talk is concerned. Number 3, get clear on what vernacular works for you versus what vernacular doesn't. I.e., someone calling it a cock and a pussy versus someone saying a vagina and a penis, right? There are certain words that trigger us in a good way and trigger us in a bad way. So if you hate the word moist and your partner in the middle of a session says, God, you feel so moist, and you want to die and it makes you cringe, boom, you're out of the session. So make sure you sit down and communicate. These are the words that I want to be like spoken about my body. These are the words that'll turn me off. So try not to use them. And this sounds so clinical, but let me tell you, it'll save you so many cringe-worthy moments during your dirty talk sessions with your partner before the session happens, so that when you're in the session, you can be fully in it, love it. And number 4, the final one, practice dirty talk before getting into the bedroom. The best way to practice dirty talk is via text message sometime, just because it takes the pressure off each partner's. It gives each partner the time to think about a response rather than needing the response to be kind of off the cuff in the moment. If you practice dirty talk beforehand and you get in a rhythm with dirty talk beforehand via text message, then when you move into the bedroom, it's going to flow out more naturally, because you're going to know each other's rhythms, each other's styles, whether you like indirect or direct dirty talk. It's all going to flow much more better if you practice beforehand. And that is all that I have for you in this week's Q&A. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you so much for listening to Smex Ed with Amanda. And some parting words for you today. Remember this: no matter how hard society pushes you down, no matter how many times you fall, as long as you get the fuck back up, they can never stop you. You are unfuckable with. You will win. Don't allow this world to dictate how you show up in it. Don't allow society to make you bend the knee. Instead, make them bend theirs. And don't forget, if you like what you heard, go on to iTunes and Spotify and leave your girl a review. Until next time, my beautiful people.